Veteran in Washington County is suing a VA-approved lender. She tells 13 Investigates Tessa Bentulin she got the green light to purchase a home with their loan, a home she found out later needs to be demolished.
Tessa Bentulin is here in the studio joining us right now. Tessa, there's so much to cover here, but let's start with what this woman is saying is wrong with the house.
Hi, Sabrina and Mark. Yeah, it wasn't until April Hathaway moved in that she realized her dream home in Whitehall had no foundation, no heat, and problems with the septic system. She received nearly $250,000 from Veterans United Home Loans. Hathaway says it went to waste.
This entire house was put together horribly. Like, nothing is up to code. Nothing has permits, and they're saying that this entire house needs to be ripped down.
April Hathaway bought what she thought was a beautiful 2-story home with 4.5 acres of land for her 2 young kids to play on. She packed up their life in Tennessee to move to upstate New York in October 2021 to be closer to family. Soon after they moved in, the problems started piling up. It ended with Washington County Code Enforcement saying the home is unsafe and an illegal structure.
What is a family supposed to do when they can't hold people accountable? We're just stuck here.
The last known permit for this home was in 1988. 33 years before Hathaway bought it.
There's asbestos insulation in their closets upstairs, so we obviously cannot have them upstairs.
Hathaway showed me all the safety hazards in the home.
That heater was here, but it doesn't work, so I mean, it's pretty much useless. This is the kitchen. Usually if we're out here, we're in sweaters or coats trying to cook.
The Hathaways can't use the entire second floor.
Yeah, it's completely plasticed off because it's about 30 degrees upstairs. It keeps about the same weather outside as it is upstairs.
You have how many bedrooms upstairs?
3 bedrooms and a walk-in closet upstairs and a huge bathroom, but
can't use any of that.
Yeah, can't use any of it.
We even went to the basement and got a closer look at the emptiness behind this wooden door.
There's nothing holding this house up other than dirt. There is open electrical wires, non-secured gas lines. The septic is actually leaking because it's not put together properly.
A lot of the additions to the home were done without a single permit or inspection by code enforcement. So who would let a person buy this home? Hathaway says a Veterans Affairs approved lender.
We drill it in our heads, integrity, morals, that's what we're supposed to be about. And then they have none.
Hathaway spent 8 years in service with jobs across the country, from working on a firing range to doing logistics and supplies, and even serving as a security detail for then First Lady Michelle Obama.
I really enjoyed it, but I wanted to have a family.
Hathaway says she was set up with a VA-verified real estate lawyer, inspector, and appraiser. The appraisal report found no physical deficiencies or adverse conditions with the home. Because of that report, the lender believed the home was worth the $220,000 asking price. The inspector found a laundry list of problems, even mold, but Hathaway was still given a loan. Now she's suing. Her attorney, Gerald Torello, says he took Hathaway as a client because he's so outraged of what she went through.
It's a sad state of affairs when the VA has guidelines that need to be followed for anyone who's lending on behalf of the VA, who guarantees the loan. Yet this lender really barely took any steps to even check the most basic of things in the house.
The Veterans United Home Loans website states vetting a property ensures military families have a safe, structurally sound, and sanitary place to call home.
Unfortunately, none of them did any of it. So now we are stuck in the situation 3 years later where it's going to destroy my credit and my children's futures. So.
Veterans United Home Loans declined to comment for the story. I also spoke directly with a Veterans Affairs representative, but have not received any statement. And just last year, a couple, this one right here, wanted to actually buy the Hathaway's home, and they tell me it only took their inspector 10 minutes to realize this house is not fit to be a home. And their inspector found some of these problems that nobody else knew about, not even Hathaway.
The veteran says she's supposed to pay back a $250,000 loan for a home she bought in Washington County, but soon after she started living there, she found out it needed to be demolished because it's unsafe.
At 4 o'clock, veteran April Hathaway here. She showed our News Channel 13 investigates Tessa Bentulin all the severe safety hazards with the home, and there were a lot of them. Much of Hathaway's home has no supporting foundation, and her family can't even use the entire second floor of the home because the heating system up there doesn't work.
New at 5, a couple wanted to buy Hathaway's home, but Tessa Bentulin is here to explain why it only took their inspector 10 minutes to realize this house was unlivable. Tessa.
Hi, Rachel and Steve. Just a lot going on here. And Vicky and Arnie Trudeau were in the market to buy a new home. And when they came across April Hathaway's house and saw it, they thought to themselves, well, this is a Veterans Affairs approved lender, so what could go wrong? Well, the Trudeaus say they found a problem nobody else noticed.
The place was beautiful. I mean, so the red flag started coming by us looking with the broker first.
Arnie and Vicky Trudeau first went to look at the Whitehall home on County Route 18 last year. They loved the layout and the 4.5 acres of land. That's when they decided to put a deposit on the house and get an inspector to come out.
He says, "Do you know what's in here?" I go, "No, I never looked in there." And he said, "There's a mobile home frame and axles under here just setting up on cement blocks."
The house used to be a mobile home. Pictures from the Trudeau's inspection showed the old frame and axles still attached to the trailer. And there's the cement blocks. Washington County Code Enforcement says many of the additions were done without permits. That's when the Trudeaus called April Hathaway.
You told April you were upset at first, right? You thought that she was scamming you.
When we found out all this stuff, I said, April, I said, do you realize what is going on with this place? And she's like, no, what? And I told her, and I said, you can't possibly tell me that when you bought this, you didn't know. It didn't make sense to me that if she had an inspection on this place, that nobody saw any of these issues. It just didn't connect. And as we got talking, it came very clear to me that she really, truly had no idea.
Hathaway bought her home for roughly $220,000 with a Veterans Affairs approved lender. She says the house was heavily vetted by the VA, but shortly after she moved in, she says the heaters didn't work and there was a septic issue.
We tried to sell the house, not knowing that all the rest of the issues were actually a thing. Everything snowballed. We found out about literally everything. Everything showed up on their inspection that should have showed up on mine.
Now Hathaway is suing the lender, Veterans United Home Loans. Her attorney, Gerald Torello, says simple steps were not taken.
It's not like we're asking anyone to do any type of crazy work to find this out. This could have been found out very simply by saying to the building department, do you have any property records concerning this place? That's it.
Hathaway also filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office. She gave 13 Investigates a copy of the VA's response to the complaint. It says the issues Hathaway was having are beyond much of the VA's control and should be handled by an attorney. But if she had any questions, she can call her VA representative.
Military boasts about integrity, and that's our mission, and then this happens and the VA turned their backs. So now I'm stuck here in this situation.
After Hathaway saw the Trudeau's inspection report, she decided to get another one done. Repairs could cost her 7 figures. She also was given another option. Those details live at 6.
New at 6, Hathaway got a second inspection after learning about the unlivable conditions. The inspector is now giving her 2 options. Tessa Bentulin continues her coverage and is here in the studio with us right now. Tessa, good evening once again.
Hi, good evening, Sabrina and Mark. April Hathaway could either spend over $1 million to fix the entire home, or she could demolish it and start over. The inspector told Hathaway option number 2 is actually the best way to go because it will cost less and it's safer. Hathaway got the inspection done just to get a gauge on the full extent of the code violations and health concerns. She is suing the VA-approved lender, Veterans United Home Loans. Hathaway and her attorney, Gerald Chirello, tell me the seller of the home, the VA-verified lawyer, and lender all failed in taking care of what needed to be done. They say no due diligence was done.
Those three things, that this woman was relying on, they all failed, and they resulted in her taking out a mortgage for a home that's uninhabitable.
I did every step that I was supposed to do to ensure that my kids had a safe home, and it seems like nobody really did their jobs.
Since we interviewed Hathaway for this Investigate story, she tells me she has moved her family back to a state down south. It's near the area where they were living before moving to Whitehall, but they're still stuck with that home. Veterans United Home Loans declined to comment for the story. I also spoke with Veterans Affairs directly, but have not received any statement. Mark and Sabrina.